What's up, y'all? Big showing over another video. I know it's been like 2 weeks since I uploaded, whatever, but the minor details. Because important shit just happened. So about an hour ago, Chris Paul got waived. And that really came out of nowhere for real. I mean, there was speculation like maybe he gets traded or something. I wouldn't be surprised. But him getting waived, I feel like is wild. I feel like he had like 15 mil guaranteed, and I assume the Suns don't get that cap space back. So that's kind of iffy for real. But of course, I had to make a Chris Paul video with that being, the truth and everything. So I put him back on every team he's been on in his career, on his prime version of that team, if that makes sense. And we're going to see what team does it best, what team does it worst, what version of Chris Paul does it best, does it worst, everything. So first, of course, we got Clippers Chris Paul coming in at 93 overall. And for every Chris Paul, I just replaced this team starting point guard, so rest is gone here. On the Pels, we got 97 overall Chris Paul, which is probably an ideal type of point guard for like Zion to play with, kind of similar to, I don't want to say similar to Lonzo, but like he's gonna sit here, play make, he can really throw a lob, he plays some defense, all the cool shit. And when it comes to the Clippers too, like they've needed a traditional point guard for a minute, so it works for them too. The Rockets get that little vet leadership with a 90 overall Rockets Chris Paul, and for these three, these all came straight off 2K's all-time version. So the all-time Clippers Chris Paul, all-time Pelicans, and all-time Rockets Chris Paul, and he's coming in as a 90. For Suns Chris Paul, I just bumped him up back to about a 90, which is, I think he was either at the beginning of this season or like some point last season he was about a 90, so I feel like that's about his peak. For OKC Chris Paul, made him he's an 88, and I just replaced him for Giddey for the Thunder instead of Shea. Since he played with Shea, I feel like Shea can just move over to the 2, and then Giddey is just bucket, you feel me? But he's an 88 overall, probably Chris Paul's worst tenure with the team, but he still did his job. I mean, they had like a 0.3 chance to make the playoffs, and he took them to the 4 or 5 seed, and they lost in Game 7 in the first round. So that's overachieving. But yet they bring in a nice vet point guard for their core, and is that all the teams? There's only 6. Yep, that's all the teams. I thought there was one more. So we're gonna be simming this season, all 60 teams, seeing, I already told y'all what Chris Paul does the best, what is the worst. I'm sorry if I'm rambling a little bit. This was most of my videos I kind of think ahead. This is really literally I just saw that he got waived, so I'm just putting it together. So we're gonna check in at the All-Star break to see how all these teams do. We checking in at the All-Star break. Well, the All-Star draft to be more specific. At one of the Chris Pauls, it looks like he's actually All-Star captain. And let's see how many Chris Paul I see total. Is it just the one? I see another one. So it looks like just 2 of the 6 Chris Pauls made the All-Star game. As the Pelicans Chris Paul is All-Star captain, giving you 25 and 15, basically 3 steals a night, and he's playing big minutes, which it makes sense. I feel like the Pelicans, I mean, I don't even know what to say about the Pelicans. Them getting this type of point guard probably helps them the most, especially since this is prime Chris Paul for real. And the other one is actually Clippers Chris Paul, which would be the second best one. They're another team that kind of needs some point guard play. He's giving you about 20 and 11, also 2 steals a night. But that's the only 2, and we'll see. The Clippers are the 3 seed, Pels are the 2 seed. Rockets are not in the playoffs. They're about 1 game under 500 though, so they're about a game out, which isn't too bad. Suns are the 5 seed, and the Thunder about 2 games of playoffs as well, so they're not too bad. And I just noticed Chris Paul has never played in the East. I don't know if that's kind of random, but, and actually this is gonna be the first time too, and this isn't related, that Chris Paul just is going to a different team on his free will. He always gets traded. Checking out all the other Chris Paul's stats, and injuries are on, because the main reason Chris Paul probably don't have any rings is because of injuries, and I'm not gonna let that change just for this video. If he gets injured, he gets injured. That's just a Chris Paul cycle. Rockets Chris Paul give me about 19, 5, and 11, so he's playing about All-Star level. He's probably close. I'm gonna check the voting too. Suns Chris Paul's only give you 11 and 10, not really scoring, and he's not really playing huge minutes either, which is kind of surprising. But hold on, did that say they traded for Dry? Nah, they don't really have the point guard depth to, be messing around with it. And he still has the modern day tendency. Like, I didn't go in and change modern day tendencies. So this is just basically modern Chris Paul with an overall upgrade. Thunder Chris Paul also not really scoring, really playmaking, and doing fine. He's not. His efficiency's pretty bad considering everything. I don't know what that is about the Thunder, but that's it is. And that's all 6 of them. We'll check the actual All-Star voting to see, what it looked like his chances are. As Pelicans ran away with it. The Clippers was up there. The Rockets was. Okay, he didn't make it. He wasn't really close. But he was sort of close, and then the other 3 are nowhere to be found. And then when looking at the MVP race, we have Pelicans number 2. Nobody else on any other ones. I wouldn't expect them to be. All right, and we'll check in once again at the end of the season. See how Chris Paul is doing then. And as per 2K usual, Luka gets MVP, and he doesn't have any accessories, which I feel like doesn't Luka wear like an arm sleeve or something? That's weird. I don't know why I noticed that. Paulo gets Rookie of the Year. Ben Simmons with 6 man. Giannis gets D-Boy. Nasri Most Improved. And Quinn Snyder of the Atlanta Hawks. See 2K still meat munching them. He gets Coach of the Year and Executive of the Year. Whoever that is. Can I check that? The Warriors Executive. Okay. So when it comes to Chris Paul's, of course, Pelicans maintains his stats pretty well. Ends up making first team. And then that's the only Chris Paul to make an All-NBA team. Pelicans also makes All-Defensive Team with the Rockets make an All-Defensive Team too. We'll see all the teams. Alright, so you see Clippers 3 seed playing 6 seed Suns, 2 seeded Pelicans, and then we got the 8 seeded Rockets, 9 seeded Thunder, and somebody's missing, I feel like. Clippers, Pelicans. Is it only 5 teams? I've been saying it's been 6 the whole time. 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, it's only been 5 teams the whole time. I'm stupid. Yep, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, I'm stupid. Okay, I feel like I've been saying it's 6 teams the whole time. It's actually only 5 of them. But checking in on their stats. Clippers continue to play good, getting about 25 and 11, 2 steals a night. Already saw Pelicans, Rockets. He saw his too. He was on all defensive second team, 19, 6, and about 10.5, 2 steals. Suns didn't score that well. It was real efficient though, 11 and 10. And then finally we have OKC, about 12 and 9. Didn't shoot too well. Didn't really do too much. OKC. Chris Paul was probably, like, individually you would probably say the worst, but I don't think it was that bad. Let's see, because I assume some of them are like league leaders in assists. I assume they're all up there, like top 10. As Chris Paul 1, 4, 6, 8, 10, and is that the last one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I keep forgetting it's 5 of them. And then steals, same thing. 1, 7, 13, 15, and 18. Yeah, as expected. They all did that kind of Chris Paul thing, just at different levels. Come look at the play-in. We're going to see what the 7-8 game first. And the Rockets are getting their ass bust, respectfully. So that's done for. I didn't expect a lot from him, but they got him to the play-in, so that's pretty solid. He had 22 and 6 in the closeout. 6 turnovers isn't ideal, but it didn't look like he had a bad game. Going to the 9-10 game, which is OKC and the Lakers. And they're fighting. And that was an awful start to the second quarter. It looks like both these playing teams are getting handled. Yep, another one, Chris Paul. This Chris Paul didn't do anything really. Negative, plus, minus. Didn't play big minutes either. So they were like, he didn't have a lot of fouls. The fact that he only played 23 minutes, they just did not trust him out there. They'd rather have played TJ McConnell big minutes than him, which is wild in the closeout game. It's wild that 2K would even program that. But it's a LeBron team, so you can't be too surprised. Oh my God, I'm stupid. They were in the 7-8. The Rockets were in the 7-8 game. They had another game, but they get demolished by the Lakers. And Chris Paul, 13, 3 for 21. Going into the first round, these series, because we have 2 of them going against each other. Clippers up 3-1 right now. so far. Clippers Chris Paul is giving you 26 and 11 on 78% true shooting ridiculous these playoffs so far. And Suns is giving you 9 and 9 shooting terrible. Oh my god, that is a big difference there. Some Cavs game 5. We'll see if the Clippers can get it done with. If the Suns can keep fighting. Suns because first quarter. Clippers kill that second and third though, and the fourth. Send the Suns home. CP3 another solid game, averaging 24 and 12 at the first round, still shooting great. And Suns Chris Paul, I mean, he got his numbers together a little bit that last game, but he's also hurt now. Chris Paul cycle. And Pels Chris Paul is getting to the second round too, averaging 23 and 17 with about 4.5 steals a game against the Trailblazers. I don't know if he was just ripping Matisse Thybulle. I guess 3.5 turnovers a game for Matisse Thybulle is wow. In the second round, we got another Chris Paul matchup though with the Pels and the Clippers going. Clippers take game 1, Pels get 2, Clips get 3, Pels take 4, Clips take 5. So far in these Pels is still giving you about 25 and 15, so his numbers have dropped, but he's still solid. And then Clippers giving you 22 and 10 during this playoff run. During this round specifically, we can check that as well. In the second round, Clippers can give you about 20 and 8, not too bad. And then Pels can give you 26 and 12, so he's still playing very well. On SimCAD game 6 as well. And if it's close, I will jump in. We just ain't had no close games yet. There's another blowout we see, and this one's going to go to 7. Chris Paul 24 and 18. And then, Kawhi didn't have a game. The Clippers Chris Paul 21 and 12. Going into game 7. It's looking like it's going to be a close one. We might be able to jump into this one, but the Clippers are running away a little bit. And the Clippers are able to handle the Pelicans in 7. Pels Chris Paul I wouldn't say he underperformed. He just wasn't really shooting, only 8 shots in the closeout games. Not what you want to see. And they brought in Clint Capella for some reason. It's interesting on the Pelican side. And Clippers Chris Paul 25 and 15. Has Kawhi really been? 2K need to get Kawhi tendency together, because you see like Paul George will really ball out in 2K. Like he'll be smooth and be like real life Paul George. Kawhi is never like good in 2K. Like he's not bad. They're in the playoffs. He's been okay. Regular season 19 points a game. Like that is not Kawhi. You see the Lakers almost made it to the conference finals, but they lose in 7 to the Grizzlies, who look exactly the same. I'm not really too worried about them. But they take both home games. The Clippers are able to get that home court advantage back. I did not mean to send the series. But the Clippers did win. I think that's it. Chris Paul got conference finals MVP. I did stop it for a second. Let's see what the conference finals look like. Does Kawhi give you 28? I mean, it's arguable, but I would think 2K gave it to Chris Paul. Y'all can slow it down and look at the footage to review maybe. Norm Powell's out for the season, though. And so is Rocco, who's not too bad in 2K now. Anyway, with the finals coming up, we have the Atlanta Hawks, who 2K just loves for some reason, who don't have Clint Capella anymore because he was on the Pelicans, if I remember correctly. And they're taking game 1 and game 2 and game 3. Okay. And the Hawks sweep. Yep. That's 2K for you. And unsurprisingly, Chris Paul is hurt after the finals.